Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Jamie Kate, and in today's video, I will be sharing with you how I completed California's deficiency requirement for foreign graduates, what were the costs, and I will be sharing some tips on how you can apply for reciprocity or by exam in California. If you haven't checked my other nursing videos, I uploaded a how I passed my NCLEX-RN and a follow-up video of life after NCLEX. I will be linking these videos down below, so check them out. I've been getting a lot of questions about this, and today I will be answering those questions. So this video might be long. I will be putting timestamps so that you can skip to the topics that you are interested in. So without further ado, let's get it started. Just a backstory, July 2018, the California Board of Nursing sent me a letter stating that I have to take Med Surg and OB in order for me to get endorsement. I was very anxious of what the result might be because I've been hearing and reading a lot of different outcomes for different people. Some of them claim that there's this 10-year rule where if you graduated 10 years ago, then you don't have to take Med Surg or OB or Psych anymore. And I was also anxious because they might ask me to repeat the whole program, just like what they told me back in 2013. Luckily, I was just required to take Med Surg and OB, and I even appealed for a re-evaluation from a different analyst. Now, this is a risky thing to do. I read in one of the posts that when she asked for a re-evaluation, the analyst gave her more requirements. I was very nervous that it might happen to me. Luckily, it turned out the same. They still wanted me to take Med Surg and OB. The thing with California Board of Nursing is that every case is unique. They require different files from each individual, so it's really hard to predict if you are going to be required to take subjects or not. Before I received my re-evaluation result, I already emailed my first analyst stating that I will be taking my subjects out of state. In my case, I enrolled in a small school in Miami, Florida. I found this school through a Facebook page called California Board of Nursing for Foreign Graduates. This is a public Facebook group where different foreign graduates ask different students how they process their papers, what were the requirements given to them, and which school they went to. So if you are a foreign graduate struggling to process your reciprocity or your application for examination in California, I highly recommend joining this group so that you have more resources. Since I was able to receive the letter from the Board of Nursing back in July, I was able to gather all the admission requirements of the school. I was able to join the August cohort. I personally chose to go to this school because the schedule is pretty flexible and it aligns with my work schedule. The cost is also much cheaper than enrolling in a school here in California, and the school was accredited by the California Board of Nursing. Usually when you plan to take your subjects out of state, you have to have an approval from your analyst. You have to email them that you are taking the subjects out of state. Let's talk about the cost. It's been a while, so I will be giving rough estimates of my expenses since I don't have the receipts anymore. So the tuition, the books, the uniforms, administration fee, drug testing, and fingerprint screening cost roughly about $5,500 to $6,000. Since I was flying back and forth from California to Miami, I was spending a lot of money on airfares and hotels. My airfare and hotel expenses fluctuate every month. So I have a breakdown of my airfare and hotel. In August, I spent $382 for the airfare and $481 for the hotel. In September, I spent $255 for my airfare and $414 for the hotel. In October, I spent $293 for the airfare and $540 for the hotel. And in November, which is the most expensive of them all, is $398 for the airfare, and for the hotel I spent $951. I don't know why it was so expensive. Maybe because it was like near Thanksgiving and everyone was just flying to Florida. That was the cheapest hotel that I can find. I paid $951. So the total for airfare and hotels alone were 3,714. In addition to that, since I was staying in a hotel and I didn't have a proper kitchen, I was eating out twice a day for lunch and dinner, and I have a budget of $25 per meal because I did not expect Florida to be expensive when it comes to food. I also did not rent a car, so I was spending a lot of money on Uber. Luckily, the hotels that I rented were kind of near my school, so Uber wasn't that expensive. It ranges from $6 to $10, and I was doing that twice a day as well. When we were doing our clinicals, we had to spend a little bit more on transportation because the clinical sites are farther from our school. Was the experience of going out of state to fulfill the California deficiency worth it? The answer to that is a resounding yes. It took me 4 months to complete my Med Surg and OB. I finished on November 10 and I received my license December 10. So it only took them 1 month to process all the papers. My school was very responsive and proactive in processing the papers, and they made sure that there will be no problem when it comes to submitting the forms that California requires them. I had few classmates that were also applying for endorsement and they got their licenses as well. And I had classmates who applied by exam, so they also got their eligibility. Honestly, I was a little hesitant to make this video because apparently California Board of Nursing doesn't allow students to take the deficiency classes anymore in this certain school that I attended to. They only encourage students to take the subjects within California. The rules of California Board of Nursing is ever changing. It can be frustrating because finding a school that will accommodate you to take these subjects is really hard. I can say that I was very lucky because my papers got processed on time and I was able to join the classes early on before this controversy happened. I didn't have to pay that much because we all know that schools here in California charge so much. I honestly do not know if they no longer allowed any school out of state or it's just the school that I attended to, but it is very important that you consult with your analysts, ask for permission, and make sure that they approve the school that you are going to enroll in. So here are some tips on how you can be successful in applying for an exam or endorsement in California. First tip is to submit all requirements and make sure it is shipped by your school, sealed and authenticated. It is very important that the files are directly from your school and not your personal address, otherwise it will be rejected. If you have the means to pay extra to expedite your files and also to ship it overnight, please do it. From my experience, it took them 2 months to send a response. The second tip is while you are waiting for the California Board of Nursing's response, proactively look for schools that are accredited by the BON and ask them what are the admission requirements. That way, if you receive a letter from the Board of Nursing and they require you to take additional subjects, you are ready to enroll in the next available class. Time is very precious, my friend. This is just my personal opinion, but if you are required to take subjects, don't delay and take those subjects right away. Like what I said, the rules of California Board of Nursing is ever changing. It's getting harder and harder for foreign graduates to get eligibility. So if you have to sacrifice a little bit of your time to have it done, just do it. I myself had to turn down a full-time position at a hospital that I wanted to work at and opt for a per diem position. I opt for per diem because it gave me a lot of flexibility to schedule my work days so that I can fly to Florida back and forth without creating problems with scheduling. Also, don't let your finances discourage you. I had to take out loans and my parents helped me out with some of the costs, and I'm very grateful that they were very supportive at this difficult time. If you have to borrow money, just do it. It is just a minor inconvenience for a better career and you will earn your money back. Do your research and find what works for you. And lastly, if you are given the opportunity to get an eligibility, do not waste your time and focus on your NCLEX. The experimental questions that I encountered when I took my NCLEX were a little more difficult than your regular NCLEX question. So I feel like the more you delay it, the harder the exam will be. And that is it for this video. I hope hope you find this helpful. If you have a friend or a family member that is going through difficulties in applying for a California license, feel free to share this video with them. I am currently in the process of applying for an RN job, which is a very exciting time for me. Let me know if you want to know more about my job hunting journey and interview process. Comment down below and I will see you in my next video. Bye!